The first time I saw her cry was the day the doctor said, "Madam, your monthly cycle has stopped for good." Everyone in the waiting room turned. This was the same woman people feared to greet, the same woman men used to lower their eyes for, the same woman we all called the Proud One. Her name was Nkiru Okafor, and this is the story I watched happen with my own eyes. I grew up 2 houses away from Nkiru in our town in Anambra State. We were not close friends, but in a small town, you see everything, you hear everything, you know people's lives even when you pretend not to. Nkiru was beautiful in a way that caused trouble. Not the loud kind of beauty, not makeup and shouting. It was the quiet kind that made people stop talking when she passed. Tall, smooth skin, long neck, sharp eyes. Even when she wore simple wrappers, she looks like someone meant for better places. From her early 20s, men came. They came with gifts, with respect, with plans, and she chased them away one by one. I remember the first serious one. His name was Chinedu, a civil servant. Calm man, hard-working, everyone liked him. He came to Nkiru's parents properly. He did everything right. One evening, I was sitting outside plaiting my sister's hair when I heard shouting. "You are too small for my dreams," Nkiru yelled. Chinedu stood there holding a small bag. His shoulders were down. He did not shout back. He only said, "Nkiru, nobody starts big." She laughed, not a soft laugh, a sharp one. "Go and grow first," she said, and walked inside. That was the first. After that came a trader from Onitsha. She said he smelled of the market. Then a teacher. She said teachers die poor. Then a businessman who already had one child. She said she would never be a second option. Each time she found a reason, and each time her pride grew stronger. People warned her. Her mother cried many times, her aunties talked, even the women in church tried. Nkiru always replied the same way: "I will not suffer. I know my worth. I cannot marry wrong." At first, we admired her. Many girls secretly wanted her courage. She spoke the things others only thought. But as years passed, admiration slowly turned into fear. Fear of ending like her. By 30, she was still single, still beautiful, still proud. By 35, the men coming reduced. By 40, they almost stopped. She had a good job in a bank then. She drove a small car. She built a bungalow for her parents. She traveled. She wore good clothes. On the outside, she won. But inside, something started to crack. I noticed it one evening at a burial ceremony. Women were sitting in groups talking about children and school fees. Nkiru sat alone, scrolling her phone. When a little boy ran past and called someone Mama, I saw her flinch. Just once. Then she smiled again. At 42, her mother died. That was when everything changed. After the burial, when people left, I went to help clean the compound. I found Nkiru sitting on the floor of her mother's room, holding an old wrapper. "She warned me," she said, suddenly. I did not ask who. She said, "Pride does not sleep with you at night." Her voice broke, but she quickly wiped her face. "I am still fine," she added. But she was not. After that, she became quieter, less sharp. She started attending more weddings. She stayed longer with friends who had children. Then, suddenly, she began to panic. She called people she had once rejected. Some had married, some had moved on. One laughed and hung up. Others were polite but distant. Time had moved. At 45, she started seeing doctors, traveling to Lagos, trying herbs, trying injections. She never told people why, but we knew. One evening, she came to my house. That alone shocked me. "I cannot sleep," she said. We sat quietly. "I did everything right," she whispered. "Why is this happening to me?" I had no answer. Then came the hospital day. I had gone for my own checkup when I saw her. She looked smaller, older. Her hair was not well done. Her hands were shaking. When the doctor said the words, she did not shout. She cried. Not loud crying, the kind that empties a person. "I waited too long," she said again and again. "I waited too long." After menopause, life became cruel to her in small ways. Family members stopped pressuring her, but that silence was worse. At naming ceremonies, people forgot to give her a baby to hold. At home, nights became long. She once told me, "The house is too quiet, even the walls are tired of me." She tried adoption, but her energy was gone, her joy was gone. She was always tired, always sad. The pride that once filled her had turned into regret. One afternoon, I saw her sitting outside watching children play football. "If I had known," she said, not looking at me, "I would have chosen peace over perfection." That was the last deep conversation we had. Nkiru is still alive. She still dresses well. She still smiles in public. But when you look closely, you see it. Tears that came too late, and a lesson our town will never forget. Because beauty fades, time does not wait, and pride is a poor companion when the nights grow cold.
I thought that was the end, but life still had small moments left to show her. Months later, I heard she started going to church very early, before others arrived. She sat at the back, no noise, no big prayers, just quiet. The kind of quiet that comes after many mistakes. Sometimes, young girls greeted her on the road with respect. "Auntie Nkiru, good afternoon." She always answered kindly, too kindly, like someone trying to correct an old version of herself. One day, a girl from our street came to her for advice. The girl was beautiful too, proud too. I was there, washing clothes, when I heard Nkiru speak. "Don't wait for life to humble you," she said softly. "Choose wisely, not perfectly." The girl nodded, but I could see it in her eyes. She did not fully believe it. I remembered Nkiru at that age, strong, sure, untouchable. That was when I understood something. Regret does not shout. It whispers. It waits until there is no more time to fix things. Nkiru still lives in that same house. Some evenings, her generator hums alone. No children's voices, no quarrels, no laughter, just light in empty rooms. People no longer call her the proud one. Now they say, "She tried." And in our town, whenever a girl raises her chin too high and laughs at good men, someone always says quietly, "Remember Nkiru Okafor." Not to shame her, but to remember that life is not only about standards. Sometimes it is about timing. Sometimes it is about choosing love before it walks past you and never turns back.
I did not think I would speak about Nkiru again, but life has a way of bringing people back into your thoughts. About a year after that day she watched the children play football, something small happened. Small, but heavy. There was a heavy rain one evening, the kind that turns the road into brown water. Power was out, as usual. I was closing my window when I heard someone calling my name. It was Nkiru. She was standing in the rain, holding a nylon bag over her head. Her wrapper was wet. Her slippers were muddy. "I'm sorry," she said. "Can I stay a bit? The rain caught me." That was the first time she had ever asked me for anything. We sat in the dark. Only lightning lit her face now and then. "I used to think needing people was weakness," she said suddenly. "I was wrong." She told me she had started volunteering at a small orphanage on the edge of town. She did not say it with pride. She said it like someone confessing. "The children don't judge," she said. "They don't ask where my husband is." She laughed softly, then went quiet. A few weeks later, I visited the orphanage with her. Children ran to her. They called her Auntie Nkiru. One little girl held her wrapper and refused to let go. Nkiru's eyes filled with tears, but she did not wipe them away. "I don't want to replace what I missed," she told me. "I just want to give what I still have." That sentence stayed with me. Not long after, one of the men she had once rejected died suddenly. At the funeral, Nkiru stood quietly at the back. His wife cried loudly. Their children clung to her wrapper. Nkiru did not cry. On the way home, she said, "Life does not punish us. It just continues without us." As the years moved on, her hair grew more gray. Her steps became slower. But something else changed too. She became lighter. She laughed more easily. She listened more. She no longer tried to prove anything.
Sometimes in the evenings, she sat outside and told neighborhood children stories. Not advice, not warnings, just stories. They loved her. One night, while we were watching the moon, she said, "I don't regret wanting a good life. I regret thinking love was a reward for perfection." That was the last lesson she gave me. Nkiru Okafor never married. She never had children of her own. But when she finally fell sick, the house was not empty. Children from the orphanage came, women from the street came, even men who once feared her came to greet her quietly. As I sat beside her bed, she squeezed my hand. "Tell them," she whispered, "tell them not to wait too long to be kind." She died just before dawn. At her funeral, the church was full. People cried. Children cried the most. And as they lowered her into the ground, I understood something clearly for the first time. A life is not only measured by what we gain. Sometimes it is measured by what we learn in time to give away. And Nkiru, at last, had learned.